Gold mining may seem serious and meticulous, but even the most experienced miners are not immune to making mistakes. Miners have had their fair share of ups and downs, from small oversights that can be overlooked to costly mistakes that can cause tension among team members. Join us as we delve into the dumbest moments of the gold rush sinking the million duel. Dredge. Tony Beets' dredge sank for the second time in 6 weeks. He was woken up on his day off to go down and see what happened with the dredge. When Tony arrived, what he saw was far from ideal. He had a lot of money tied to that machine, and it was just sitting there. It was not a proud moment. The crew understood the gravity of the situation. As they did not know where to start, they had to fix the problem, but it was extra tough because the goal was to have the machine working. When Tony got back, they focused on the pontoons, trying to pump out water and make the dredge floating again. They felt that something was broken as the pontoons took in the water so quickly. One of the crew members, understanding better how serious the situation was, simply turned around inside, saying that Tony and Kevin would not be pleased with this one. They tried to fix the situation quickly, but there was just too much water in the pontoons. So they were just trying to lighten up the load to get rid of the weight. When the dredge is not running, it is missing out on about $1,000 per hour. That's a lot of money at the end of the day. To address the situation of the sinking pump, they fixed up 6 pumps to drain the water, but they knew they were fighting a losing battle. They even doubted that the pumps would do the job. Mike contributed heavily to their efforts by fetching a powerful pump capable of moving 3,000 liters every minute. Having fixed the pump, they let it do its job. Mike and Jason had been pumping water for 12 hours. They finally pumped the water from the pontoons. Now they had to find out why the dredge sank in the first place. A significant revelation occurred when Roger Redball, inspecting the dredge, discovered that the hatches were open. The crew had been addressing their own issues, attempting to navigate through the cut. The realization struck them that this wasn't a mechanical failure or natural cause, but a result of human error. The open hatches allowed sand and water to spill into the pontoons, leading to the dredge sinking. It was 100% their fault. Soon enough, Tony and Kevin returned from the auction, and just as expected, demanded an explanation as to what happened. After understanding what happened, the mine boss still wanted to know why the hatches were left open. It turned out to be the fault of the night shift crew. They had not paid attention to the dredge with the pontoon ton fixed. Instead of laying blame, Tony was only concerned about turning the dredge around and operating it again. The groundwater and water from the holding pond had the dredge floating again. They were getting ready to move on to the next steps. Lauren and the team showed that they were ready, and they quickly asked Mike about moving the dredge. Kevin stressed that they needed to do it fast before Jason could start digging in the new area. The plan was to turn the dredge 90 degrees, making the tailings conveyor swing over the road. This needed careful moves. They checked how close the back end was to the shore, and it was pretty close. As they got closer to a very important moment, the team knew they had to do some tricky moves to guide the dredge through a difficult part. Even though there might be some problems, they felt hopeful about making the turn successfully. When the dredge was finally in the right position, they felt happy and relieved because everything went as they expected. After the successful turn, the team looked at the situation and felt satisfied with how things turned out. Now they were excited about the chance to get some rewards because the dredge was ready to start getting gold again. The noise of the buckets working showed that things were going well, and the team was feeling positive and hopeful about what they were doing. This mistake by the night shift crew was indeed dumb. It almost damaged Tony's dredge, but what a rookie driver did to a truck was also quite shocking. An entire truck was almost destroyed, nearly blowing out an engine. Tony had been mining for 11 weeks, hauling in over 1,000 ounces of gold, but he was not entirely happy. More had to be produced. He was chasing Paradise Hill's elusive white channel pay streak in 2 of his cuts, the 8-acre blue cut and a 9 acre cold cut, but Mother Nature had not been kind to him over the past 6 weeks. He was back in the cold cut, and there was still a huge amount of pay dirt to compensate for the lost time. Tony planned to double up his production by sling day and night for the first time this season to add to the crew. 3 rookie drivers had been drafted in since there was much work to be done. The 3 fellows were overly excited about this season. They felt it was great over there, trying to work off the ladder, hoping they would work in the yard and see some real good. It was better than seeing them wearing dinner jewelry. Before beginning the night shift, they had to prove they had the qualities Tony needed. The boss was pretty optimistic about them. According to him, if they had brains and ambitions, they could get a little training about anything in mechanics or welding. If they found the right direction, they could find a path there to carry them through life. Megan Gonded, who had worked for Parker before returning to Tony the year before, was tasked with training the rookies. She reminded Thomas, one of the rookies, not to go flooring it or anything, but to focus on being more efficient. But Thomas had done something incredibly dumb. Back at the yard, lead mechanic Kevin Beets was servicing the trucks needed for the Paradise Hills Blitz, and that was when he noticed something out of place. Where was truck number 4? It turned out that Thomas was running it. The problem was that truck number 4 was broken, overheated, and unfit to use. Kevin used lockout tags to identify vehicles that needed repairs before use. How dumb was Thomas's act? He was not bothered about the tag. It was not even signed. Thomas's rookie mistake. Thomas made a huge rookie mistake taking a truck with a lockout tag was a very big deal. Thomas risked blowing a whole engine, and now Tommy had found out Thomas stood a big chance of being sent off, but that did not happen. The boss asked him to get back in a truck. He had given the rookie another chance, but this time in a signed out, fully serviced truck. The rookies were complete again. The more trucks, the better. Mining grounds submerged underwater. We have seen Tommy's trouble with water in his dredge, but he was not the only one who had battled with water. Due to some blunder, Parker deals with his fair share of water problems. In his case, he almost lost his entire wolf cut pay on the far side of Parker's Alaskan claim. He was chasing a pay streak in the 4-acre wolf cut, which he hoped would deliver at least 1,000 ounces for him. This season, the team was trying to get access to per 30 feet down, and they had to haul out 1,000 yards of overburden. They had 4 more feet to get down to the water level, and from there 30 feet to bedrock, but things seemed to be cooler than they were. They were working right next to a pond, and water would be there. Number 1 problem: the solution was perfect frozen mud, because it kept the water out. Recruit John Baudry was tasked with handling the mud and blocking out the water, but the cut seemed pretty wet. They had to call their boss before things got out of hand. It turned out that the more areas they opened, the worse the mud got, and they had not even gotten a fifth of the cutout. The wolf cut sits alongside an old pond. What separated the two was just a narrow berm. As the crew dug down, they exposed frozen permafrost holding back the water. Now it allowed pond water to seep through the burn, flooding the cut. There was a lot of water in the area. Soon something had to be done to salvage the situation. They thought that their best option was to get a pump. Parker's plan to fight back the water was to dig a sump pond at the deepest part of the cut and install an 8-in pump to drain it. After the installation, they had to wait until the next day.